The path to a better life begins with a simple step. Empower Radio presents Simple Steps, Real Change with Cheryl Maloney. Empower Radio. EmpowerRadio.com. Here's your host, Cheryl Maloney.
Hi, everyone. Have you lost that loving feeling for yourself or for someone else? Do you feel that love has eluded you and you're doomed to live life without it? As we head into this month of love, tonight's guest, Rochelle Soetan, poet, author, and publisher of Tuesday Morning Love, is going to help you realize why love is the answer and how you can embrace it for yourself. First up, though, is this week's simple step for starting over. When we have to start over in some part of our life, we tend to blame ourselves for what went wrong. We berate our actions and our inactions. And within each unkind word we utter, our thoughts become infused with negativity. The longer we stay in that place, we actually begin to believe those horrible things that we're thinking about ourselves. And then we start to experience proof that all those negative things that we're saying about ourselves are actually real. I used to call this my self-fulfilling prophecy. These days, we know it as the law of attraction. Whatever we focus on is what we experience. So this week's simple step for starting over, well, it's a test. All right, I'm not going to grade you on it. I want you to write down whatever negative thought is going through your head and spend the next week noticing all the incidences which support that negative thought. For example, if you think you're poor financially, you may note that your checking account is overdrawn, or you can't go out with friends because you're out of money until the next pay. When you realize that you're creating your own reality because of what you're thinking, you'll understand it's time to change the thoughts. So change one thought to the positive, and then hold on to that and keep repeating that positive thought. And what you'll do is begin to notice that your experiences start changing. You're creating the reality you want. Why not create it more positively than what you may have been doing? Well, tonight's show is all about focusing on love, and my guest, Rochelle, is all about love. Tuesday Morning Love began as what was a conversation among friends, and soon it became this wonderful community. And their messages of love and life are really a commentary that transforms the way we perceive, we hear, and we feel things. And this has become Rochelle's purposeful and personal undertaking. So please join me in welcoming Rochelle to the show. Welcome, Rochelle, for being here with us.
Thank you, Cheryl, and I'm glad to be here today.
Well, I appreciate you being here. For anyone that is listening to us live, you can call in at 248-809-3475. Again, that is 248-809-3475. Or you can send an email to simplesteps@me.com, and I will get whatever your question or conversation is. We'll have this one with Rochelle. So, Rochelle, you've not been on the show before. Tell the audience a little bit about what you've done and where you've been in life.
Wow. Well, you know, Cheryl, I feel as though I've been traveling on a time machine for some time now. And literally, I say that lightly, but with all sincerity, I feel like I've experienced quite a bit in my short time on this earth. But when you truly think about it, we all experience a lot in life on a daily basis, whether we're paying attention or not. And from time to time, we wake up in the morning. From the time we wake up in the morning to the time we return to our homes at night, we are literally inhaling life as it is through our interactions and communications with the world outdoors. In terms of what I've done, I am embarking on my 35th year of creative writing, 21 years of writing professionally, my 4th year posting the website blog known as Tuesday Morning Love, and this is actually my very, very first year as a published author. So I'm very excited to have kind of watched myself grow, if you will, over the years and evolve into this person of high consciousness, and it's an everyday, never-ending battle. I'm still on the journey, on the path, finding my way there. And I've also had the opportunity to serve as a mentor and teach etiquette and civility to girls ages 6 through collegiate for the past 10-plus years. So the rewards and gratitude from that experience has been immeasurable. So I am very grateful for the journey.
Well, I listened to you talk about how long you have been so involved in writing because it's been your passion since you were a young child. And I'm always in awe of someone who, like you, says, I've been doing this since I was so young because it's always been my passion. It always truly has been your passion. You've never gotten to a point where you've said, I don't want to write anymore.
I don't believe I have. That is very interesting because on an average daily basis, I write anywhere from 10 to 18 hours a day. And I know that sounds unbelievable, but I love writing just that much. I've gone through an array of different facets of writing, from creative writing to poetry, short stories, playwright, now nonfiction, tapping into fiction. I've done editorial writing for the government. I've done magazine article writing. So I've had the opportunity to experience, the world of writing, if you will, over the past 35 years. And it has been quite a journey. It's been wonderful. I recently discovered last year, this is a little bit funny, that math and science people relate to the English language the way that English people relate to math and science. And what I mean by that is that I have friends who say, I can't sit down for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes and write a letter, but it comes so easy for you. And where they may be an IT professional or a computer tech, I can't do what they do. They can't do what I do. And everybody kind of has their own, passion and gift, if you will. Writing, I believe, is my gift. I love it. I could do it all day, every day of the week. So the answer is no. I've never found a disinterest in writing something.
Well, talk a little bit. You were 27 when you became a single parent and you moved through that whole divorce process. You share that pretty openly with your audience. So tell us, over the years, how's that transparency helped you with finding who Rochelle is?
Well, there are different kinds of people in the world. We all have different views, perspectives, experiences, stories. For some folks, sharing their story means being vulnerable, opening themselves up like a wound for ridicule, judgment, unwanted public opinion. For me, sharing is healing. I often find transformation through sharing many of my stories. Over the years, this has been taking place against my will, actually. And what I mean by that is that, if you open yourself up to the universe and you ask the universe, what is it that I need to know, to do, to share, to be? The universe answers you with open arms and gently provides you with many of the answers that you're looking for. And so I think it's kind of like the saying, when the teacher is ready, Buddha, when the teacher is ready, when the student is ready, when the teacher is ready, the student will appear. Yes, sorry. That is exactly how I see my evolution through the world. When we are ready to learn and be, the universe opens up everything to us. It's all available. And, the thing is that it's been there all the time. It's been available all the time. But because we are of human nature and we want to do things our way in our time, we make decisions that aren't always the best decisions for us. And so, at some point you just have to stop and say, what am I doing here? What's my purpose? What am I supposed to be giving back to myself and to the world?
Well, and I like that you said, what is it that I need to know? Because you truly are the type of person who is open to receiving what messages are out there from the experience that you're going through. And I'm sure being a single parent alone, you have to encounter so many circumstances you would have hoped to have had a partner with, or at least hope to know what was going to happen or how to make it work. But you've welcomed those lessons as they've gone along, as hard as they've been, as teaching opportunities. Because
when you fight, fighting against the power of the universe is like it's like a constant battle with yourself. And at some point, you really do realize that surrender is the only way. As a single parent, I've been learning as I've been teaching over these many years. I've been learning. I've been growing with my children. I've been evolving into this person because I ask the universe, and I try to do this on a consistent basis, what is it that I need to do? Guide me, order my steps. It's a two-way street. Single parenthood has made me stronger in every sense. It has taught me how to sail the ship, even when the gust of wind is not blowing, to move the boat along. So that is very powerful for me, yes.
Well, when you started Tuesday Morning Love, because you said you've been doing this for about 4 years now, how did that all come to be?
Tuesday Morning Love literally began as a simple email, and it happened on a Tuesday morning. Kind of a little bit of a funny story. It happened on a Tuesday morning, and someone sent me something very inspirational, and I felt the need to share with my circle of friends, as we often do. And so when I went to hit the reply button, I said, well, what shall I call this? I mean, I'm putting it in a story-like form. It needs a name. And I was sitting at my desk at work, and I said, okay, well, it's Tuesday, and it's morning, and this is love. It just, the inspiration from the message just felt like love. It felt like I was sharing love. And that is how Tuesday Morning Love became to be. When I initially began the website blog, the stories weren't as intriguing, they weren't as insightful, they weren't as in-depth as they are today. The more that I began to tap into my own level of consciousness, the more I realized that I must not be alone on this journey. There has to be an entire world of people out there who are facing circumstances, who have gone through divorce, who are raising children alone, who has lost a job, who has lost a home, who has lost something. We've all lost something here. And for me, sharing is liberation. It's healing. For some people, again, it puts them in a box. They don't want others to know. They don't want, it's too much like, I'm sharing my business. Well, you get to pick and choose what you want to share and what you want to keep to yourself. Certainly there are things that belong to us, and we don't need to disclose those things. But now at this junction in my life, I encourage people, if you've been raped, share your story. If you attempted suicide at some point, share your story. You never, ever know who you're going to meet on the bus, in the grocery store, in the library, at the church. You never know who you're going to come into contact with, and you really don't know how you're going to impact that person's life and literally change, or even at times save a life.
And I think that is so powerful because I know you and I started a lot in the same way because as I started writing, it was because I knew that I couldn't be the only one going through, as you say, all those losses that you listed. And once you put it out there, you're not keeping up this facade of keeping up with the Joneses who aren't keeping up anyhow. You allow others to let down this facade that they put up that really isn't real and isn't even allowing them to heal. It's just keeping them in that box that you talk about. And that box is going to hurt in the long run. So I think that's very powerful.
Lethal. Yes, it's lethal. The box destroys us. Fear keeps us in the dark. And we want to go to the light. Go to the light.
And that's where the love is, and that truly is. I mean, your message is so strong about this healing, this sharing is truly an act of love.
Yes.
Well, let's talk a little bit. You've talked about how Tuesday Morning Love got started, and it really has been the power of love that's what's transformed lives. Haven't you found that with how your community has grown?
Yes, absolutely. The website blog is now viewed in more than 17 countries across the globe. That's majorly exciting that I'm touching a life or person. Someone's eyes is watching in Pakistan or, Azerbaijan, Canada, the UK. This has been such an exploratory journey for me. It's developed into something I never thought it could be. And, the stories kind of began to write themselves. I take myself out of the equation, and the stories just flow and write themselves. I write by what inspires me. If it's someone else's story, someone else's journey, the sunrise, the sunset, butterflies, every and anything inspires me, and it's because I've opened myself up to the universe to say, use me as a tool, as a vehicle, and that's where I'm at.
Well, isn't it curious? I don't know if you experience this or not, but as you're writing, something comes to you, like you say, something comes to you, whether it's butterflies or it is just a feeling that flows through you, and you write that. And don't you find people writing to say, how did you get inside of my head? You must have been speaking to me, or you said exactly what I needed you to say. Because that's literally the universe that is conspiring to help us the way we need to be helped.
I've heard that so many times, Cheryl. How did you know I was feeling this way today? Well, yep. I didn't know, but the universe knew. And I think that's ultimately how we connect the dots. We're all connected, regardless to if we want to accept that or not. We are all connected. It's the fabric of our lives. Hence the reason why we should practice more civility. We should be kind to each other. We should be more forgiving, not only to others, but to ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves. That is the starting point of love.
Well, and as you talk about that, what do you think the key is to just embracing self-love?
I think, simply put, acceptance. I believe that the key to embracing self-love is acceptance. It's self-acceptance, self-love. I talk about that a lot because it's so critical. It's so necessary. We have forgotten how to love ourselves. We've forgotten how to love our families. We have forgotten that we're not perfect. And we're not supposed to be perfect. I think the starting point is accepting who you are, what you are. Let's go there. What are you? Who are you? What are you? And further, what is your purpose on this earth? There's a lot of lost people. I call them lost people. I don't know who they are, but they're everywhere, walking around. And I say that because when you live from day to day and you're so unconscious that you are cutting people off in traffic, you're, using profanity with someone out in the street, you're not practicing civility, you're not grateful, you're complaining consistently, we're out of touch. Something is lost there when we can't wake up in the morning and say, thank you, God, that I have a roof, I have a home, my children are here, they're not in jail, they're not dead, they're not, I have the love from my family, and I can accept that. We've lost our way a little bit. So I think the key to embracing self-love is acceptance. We have to start there. What we do with our time on this earth is paramount in how we develop as individuals, as contributors, as an added piece to the puzzle.
Well, as I'm listening to you talk, and I hear this, and I know that we experience this so much because we're both out there to help people find their way and to help find themselves in a way where they can say, I'm okay just as I am. It doesn't matter what I've been through. Those are experiences. They don't define me. We share that message of when you accept yourself, that is self-love. It's okay. Wherever you are, you're starting from this point. Whatever happens is okay as long as you feel that love for yourself. And your point about gratitude is one that is so large. It's like, some days are really bad. I know you've had them, I've had them, and you just sit there and go, okay, they're really bad days, but you know what? I do have that roof over my head. Or my husband's okay. Or my children are okay. Let me just be grateful for what I can be grateful for right at this moment, and everything else will fall into place.
Exactly. Absolutely. I don't think many people really realize that until they've lost something.
Isn't that unfortunate? We wait for something really bad to happen, and when it does, all of a sudden we go, what have I been waiting for? Why did I wait? I've lost this time.
But Cheryl, that seems to be the process of life. It's unfortunate, however, but it's the way most people live. We just really don't realize in the forefront what we have, where we are. And that's the point that I've been trying to get myself to. I write these stories. I inspire people, but it's not just for the inspiration of the people. It's to inspire myself as well. I feel blessed, divinely blessed. I've gone through an array of things in my life, and they have all molded me to become the who I am. And so having dealt with certain challenges and issues and, adversities, I can say, this is how we should be grateful. This is important. This is important.
And as I sit here and listening to you say that, it's like you've gotten to the point because of what you've been through where you say, all right, I know now. I had to go through it, but I know now. And let me share, because if someone out there can be touched by your writing, by the messages of love that you share, this community that you build, then the world's a better place. And isn't that what it's all about? It's about helping the world be a better place and people be happier.
That is what it's all about. And, if each individual would embrace themselves and love themselves and accept themselves, stop judging others, stop pointing the finger, look at you. What do you have to offer the world? Don't ask the question, what can the world offer me? What is the stamp that you're going to leave when you depart? At your eulogy, what are they going to say about you? What have you contributed? What have you given back to the universe for the universe giving you life? And so each individual person, that's where it starts, and that's what builds the great communities, the great cities, the great world. That's where the healing begins. It doesn't begin as a community. It begins with self.
It's funny as you say that, because it's kind of like, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. We've heard that for years. Instead of throwing stones at others, thinking that if you bring them down, then you'll be better, you'll be elevated, that takes you to a whole different place. Well, we're about to take a break, and as we go off, I want to talk when you come back. You've had a role model. Your father's been such a role model in your life. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about your dad's influence. So stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
And now back to Simple Steps, Real Change with Cheryl Maloney on Empower Radio. EmpowerRadio.com.
Well, welcome back to this edition of Simple Steps, Real Change. My guest here tonight is Rochelle Soetan. And right before the break, we were talking about accepting what we have been through in our lives. And Rochelle, you talk a lot in your writings about the influence that your dad had on you. Now, he passed away when you were 8, so he's been gone for quite a long time. But it seems like his influence in your life has gotten even stronger. Could you tell folks a little bit about your dad and how he really brings you through right now?
Well, my father has been deceased for 33 years.
Wow.
I believe. 33 years my father has been deceased. That's a long time. And ironically, I tell you, Cheryl, it feels like yesterday, last week. It doesn't feel like 33 years. He is a constant presence in my life. We were very close. I'm one of 4 siblings. But my dad and I were very, very close. I'm the youngest of 4. And I've always kept him close to my heart. You know, he was the perfect role model. The way that he treated my mother, the regard that he had for my mother, our household, the respect that was there, the guidance that was there, and most importantly, above all, the love that was there. That is what I ultimately connected with my father. You'll hear people say, you know, I believe Maya Angelou quoted this. She said, you know, you don't remember what a person said. You may not remember what a person did, but you always remember how they made you feel.
Yes. And
that is so powerful and so true, because my father was very quiet. He was a very humble gentleman, and he was a gentleman at best. And he didn't talk a lot, but I remember him speaking to every single individual that walked down the sidewalk with a smile, not just a hello, but a hello with a smile. And anyone who needed anything in the neighborhood, at the church, he was there. And so even as young as I was, you know, that touched me in a way that I never imagined it would evolve me into as an adult. You know, I watched him love people. And so I grew up with this you know, feeling of, you know, everybody is a person. It doesn't matter what color they are. It doesn't matter what background they are. I never saw my father discriminate. I never saw him talk to the president but not talk to the homeless person on the corner. He spoke to everyone, loved everyone. He helped everyone. And I believe that I took away that attribute. He gave that to me. I honestly believe that, because that is how I view the world. That is how I see people. I don't see color. I see color, but I don't see color. I see people. I see the heart of a person. I see the nature of a person. So, yes, my father was a very strong influence in my life. And, in fact, you know, I've been through a number of relationships in my life. I love relationships, partnerships. I've only been married once. I've been divorced for almost 10 years now, single parent for a very long time. And I always found myself measuring the man that I was dating up against my father. And he never could measure up. And I know we always hear that terminology, you know, they don't measure up. But they literally did not measure up. To this day, I still haven't found someone who walks in the light of my father. I've dated people who've come close, but he was just literally like this angel who was walking the planet Earth. And I couldn't understand it. He didn't smoke. He didn't drink. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. He just seemed so perfect to me. And maybe it's biased because I'm his child, but he seemed so perfect to me because he just treated people with such regard and such respect. And I cherished that. I took that away with me.
Well, what a powerful thing to take away from the person that was probably one of the most influential people in your life. And even though you were young when he passed, what he did in that short time was very powerful and lasting. So as I look at when you talk about your father, he's shared those qualities with you. You carry them forward, and with what you're doing with Tuesday Morning Love and all of your other writings, that's truly what you're doing. You're sharing your father's legacy in different ways because that's who you are. You are that person who reaches out and is kind to everyone, and the smile comes when we talk over the phone. I can hear the smile. I can hear the kindness in your voice. So that you started touching so many people. And it came from your dad.
I feel that, and I do feel that. My father was a true humanitarian. Just wow, just a true humanitarian, and that is how I connect the dots. I just think that it's so powerful for people to understand that we all connect in different ways, but at the end of the day, we all connect. And so when I talk about season, reason, divinity, decree of time, reason, season, lifetime, in that order, I feel that every single person has come to the planet with a time frame, if you will. Now, we don't know what that is, but for however long we're here, if it's 10 years, if it's 80 years, if we're blessed, whatever your moment is on this earth, you have to get your moment right. That is your window of light, I call it. And so we've got to get that. That's what we as people, we have to tap into. Why am I here? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? And how can I make this time the most valuable while I'm here? And for the 8 short years that my father was in my life, that's what I feel he did. Because 8 years is a very long time. A lot of people don't even remember where they were when they were 8 years old. But, my father impacted my life. It was just that powerful.
Well, as you're talking and you're sharing with others that are going through, why am I here? How do you help them? What do you counsel them to do to help them find why they're here?
Be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. That is the most powerful thing that you can do. Sharing is always that influential piece that connects us. And I am a conversationalist by nature, but I love hearing the stories of other people. I love knowing how I can help, if I can help, what I can do. It's just my nature. For some people, it comes naturally. Other people have to kind of learn and develop how to be open, how to be giving, how to be sharing. But it just happens to be who I am. My message to people is just be who you are and be where you are. Wherever you are, be there. And be in that moment.
I was just going to say that it's be in the moment and accept that where you are right at this given moment is okay. And that's what we talk about. That's very much, as you say, about acceptance and self-love. Well, let me ask you another question, because this ties in, as I've read some of your essays that are coming up in Tuesday Morning Love. You say that human relationships are reflective, and I'm going to quote you. They own the ability to illustrate who we are and where we are in our level of consciousness, and that every personal encounter holds a degree of divinity, a reason, a season, or a lifetime experience to be gotten. And this reason, season, and lifetime of experience is something that is so much about who you are. Talk about that a little bit with our audience.
Well, again, it goes back to the importance of understanding that every encounter that you experience has a meaning. I started teaching my children several years ago, just to kind of relax and inhale the breath of life, the breath of being. Be in the now. You're rushing out the door to catch the bus. If you miss that bus, there's a reason why you missed that bus. I'm not speaking of a person who's chronically late for work every day. What I'm saying is that every single iota of an essence of everything we feel, everything we go through, everything we do, where we are in our lives, what we're going through, what we're dealing with, there is a reason and a season for everything. And it's a hard lesson. It's actually a very painful lesson that we learn because, again, we are humans. We have that human nature. We want what we want. We want it when we want it. And we don't want to accept that life is actually offering us an opportunity for personal growth and development. We fight that. We fight the universe on every end and every chance that we get, and we say, no, I don't want that. I don't want to talk to this person. I don't want to be here today. I don't want to be on this particular bus. I'm tired. I'd rather be in the bed. And you discover that there are blessings through those occurrences. Something magical happens when we interact with a stranger, when we talk to a friend out of the blue that we haven't spoken to for 6 months. Something magical happens. And so I believe, my personal belief is that every single entity of our lives has significance.
Well, as I'm listening to you here, I think that when we talk about the pain and those experiences that we've gone through, pain's a very powerful teacher if we allow ourselves to learn from it. But so many times people will get stuck in, as long as they're in the pain, they don't have to move forward. It's almost like it's a safe cocoon. Mm-hmm. And in so many ways, it's almost, and I've been there, it's like you're being a martyr because you're suffering. But at the same time, you're also stagnating because you stay in that place where there is no love, especially no self-love.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's most of us, Cheryl. Pain, for whatever reason, feels good. It feels great. We don't have to try as hard. We don't have to push as hard.
Exactly.
We don't have to think as hard. We don't have to. We're not forced to put on our thinking cap and say, hey, how can I change this? And we know subconsciously that change comes with effort. It comes with, energy that you have to put in it. And most of us, we don't want to exert that energy. We just want things to stay and remain the way they are. We say we want change. We speak it verbally out of our own mouths, but we really don't want it. We want that comfort zone because we don't have to try as hard. And in trying, sometimes we feel, well, what if I fail? Well, what if you fail? What if you fail? Get back up, start again, begin again. The sun will rise in the morning and it will set at night. You have an opportunity to begin again.
this is something that has been of recent, one of those things that's just near and dear to my heart, because I've learned the difference between that comfort zone and the safety zone. And we live inside of a comfort zone, but there's such a bigger zone out there where we're perfectly safe if we'll just get up and move.
Well, you just said it. We live inside of a comfort zone that's really not a safety zone. We have conditioned our minds to believe that it's a safety zone, but it's not really safe. Love, living in the love, living through the light, that is the safe place. Loving ourselves, accepting ourselves, that is the safe place. Not consistently hurting ourselves, going through the challenges and the changes. We've all been there. I've been there so many times, too many times to count, which is why I feel that I'm a good vehicle for sharing the stories that I do, because I'm the perfect example of how you can find the ability, the power, the energy to turn it all around. It's never too late.
And, that's true. It's never too late for anything if you just start. Well, when we feel like the light, the love's gone out of our life, we kind of look around and we try to want to discover why. And you told me a story about your friend Diane. Can you share that with our audience? Yes,
Diane Adams, very powerful source of energy, love and light. She was an esthetician, professional esthetician, makeup artist, and she was my friend for many years. We lost her in January of 2007 to second time around breast cancer. And, Diane was just this force that when she walked in a room, the room literally lit up like the sun. You just stop doing whatever you were doing and say, who's that? Because that energy, we are made of energy. And the power from our energy exudes. It oozes through our pores, be it positive energy or negative energy. We are energy. That's what we are. And so Diane shared her energy with the world, and she did it in such a beautiful way that she affected thousands of people. I remember while she was going through her first round battle with breast cancer, she began picking young ladies up in her car, using her gas, her time, her effort, taking them to the doctor's office to get the mammogram. If someone says, oh, I don't have the money, oh, I don't have the time, oh, I don't have the transportation, Diane found a way to do that. And she affected not only my life, but she affected the lives of thousands of women across the globe by sharing her story. And, just a really powerful presence. I think she went the step above. Diane would open up her shirt and show her mastectomy, to the world and say, look, this is my scar. This is what I went through. And she did it with a smile. It wasn't embarrassing. She didn't feel shamed. She said, this is my story. This is who I am. This is where I am. And now I'm embracing my purpose on this planet, which is helping to save the lives of many women who need mammograms, who are going through their own personal journey and personal battle with breast cancer. And the beauty of her spirit just left us, left our jaws drop. I mean, when she passed, it was just like a light went out, And she taught me so many things. She taught many of us so many things. And, at her funeral, everyone around me was crying, and her family, they were basking in her light. And we were celebrating because we understood that she fulfilled her purpose. We understood that she got it. Whatever the it was, she got it. And she taught us that, and that's the legacy that she left us with. Get the purpose, get the reason, and then act on it. Be who you are.
As you've been talking through this conversation just tonight, it's all been about the light of a person. And even though she has passed, I can feel the light of who Diane was coming through you. So she truly has left her legacy, and her legacy is one of love.
Yes. Yes. Self-love. Yes.
Self-love. Well,
Self-love.
Talk a little bit. I'm going to take this just a little bit different direction. On Tuesday Morning Love, you truly are embracing the colors of the world. Could you tell everyone what you're doing with Think Pink and Yellow and Blue? And
Well, color psychology, it's just like anything else. It's for those who are receptive and will embrace the power of the light, and then you have others that say, I really don't get that. I really don't believe in that. And so I'm not the kind of person who I want to, share something and make you realize it, and, you got to get it. You got to understand it. I like to let people kind of find their own way, do your own research. And so I use the color psychology. This month was dedicated to color psychology. I think it's important. Again, for people to understand how we connect to the world and what makes us connect. So I'll use something as simple as saying, well, how do you feel when you put on a red dress? Literally, physically, how does it make you feel? Well, for most people, it makes them feel powerful. It gives them energy, action. It makes them feel sexy and, I'm on top of the world. And then when you put on, something that's yellow, or you're in a yellow room, or you look at the yellow flowers in the garden, it gives you that subtle warm feeling like the sun. And so colors have this powerful effect on our lives that most of us don't even realize. We don't recognize from day to day what the colors in our lives truly mean. And it affects everything, our emotional, our mental, our physical. Our chakras are aligned. There are 7 major chakras in the body. For those who are intrigued by health and wellness, they know this. They know that everything in the body connects to the mind, and the mind connects to the soul. So these aren't myths. These are realities. This is the reality of our lives, and these are the things that make us connect. How we connect with the trees. Eating green leafy vegetables. What do they do for our bodies? Well, how do you feel when you eat a bowl of broccoli opposed to eating a greasy cheeseburger? What is the difference in how it, really, if you're paying attention, again, it's all about being connected and paying attention to everything around you, taking it all in. The blue sky. Someone told me once, I don't believe in color psychology. I don't believe in that the sun does this and that. Well, okay. How do you feel on a rainy day? It's Monday. And it's a rainy day. It's a rainy Monday, and you have to be to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. Do you really feel like crawling out of the bed and getting out of the bed? Because it's raining, it's cold. But if the sun is out and it's warm and it's 74 degrees, we're putting on our shorts, we're putting on our running shoes, and we're going to welcome the sun and embrace the day, because the sun gives us that kind of energy, that kind of innate power.
As I sit here and listen to you, it's so interesting, because these are all, it truly gets back down to awareness, and in a lot of ways acceptance, because sometimes we just don't even think of these things, like you said, but when we do, all of a sudden that light bulb goes on and it goes, oh yeah, I do feel differently when the sun's shining, or I do feel differently from when it's raining. Well, as we're winding down tonight, what would you like to leave our audience with? What message would you like them to remember tonight?
Open your heart. open your mind, love yourself, accept yourself. Don't waste any more time from this moment forward. Realize that you are here for a reason. Realize that you are here for a purpose. You have a place in this world. Be of service. Give of yourself, because it is through gratitude that we gain our greatest gifts, I believe. And, when we serve others, we serve ourselves in the highest capacity. So, serving others.
I love it. So what would you say, and I know you know the answer to this, what's the legacy that Rochelle wants to leave?
The legacy? Wow. Love and light. Love and light. 3 simple words, but so powerful. Love and light. That's what the world needs now, truly.
Okay, I'm starting to hear the song. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's just, you bring about such happiness and so much joy, because when, it's like focusing on the yellow and the sunshine of the sun. The love and the light is just this very positive, wonderful place to be. And if we choose to bask in it, that's the experience we have.
Yes.
Well, talk a little. Place. Yes, it is. Talk a little bit about your book, Tuesday Morning Love. When is it due to be published, and what can our audience expect from it?
Well, Tuesday Morning Love has been a journey of love. It's truly been a love project. I am very excited about this book. I'm very appreciative for what it has given me in my life and how it has bestowed me so much grace. Tuesday Morning Love is a compilation of 53 commentaries and stories, which represent each Tuesday of the year. There are 53 Tuesdays in the year of 2013. These stories are all powerful and individual in their own right. They cover everything from the topic of love to inspiration to gratitude to finding inner peace, having strength and courage, forgiveness, renewal, restoration. And of the 53 commentaries are 12 interviewees in the book that I've sat down and had personal one-on-one interviews with, and they have told their stories. I think it's going to be very impactful. Very, very proud of this project. It's due to publish. It's been delayed a little bit. It's due to publish on February 19th, Tuesday, February 19th. And it's published in ebook, so it will be available on Amazon.com and other social media sites. So.
Wonderful. Well, Rochelle, we will share all of your website information on our summary page. Thank you so much for being here and sharing yourself and Tuesday Morning Love with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Cheryl. Thank you.
All right. Well, for everyone, it's come to the end of an hour. And again, I want to thank Andrew sitting behind the podium there that's helped us sound so good. And of course, Brent Carey, who is the reason why we are able to be here on Empower Radio. Next week, we are going to have the amazing Bonnie Lonsberry. And Bonnie wrote a blog for me, which is talking about letting go of stinking money thinking. So you'll meet a person who has gone from rag to riches and is here to help you do the same. So this week, have a wonderful week. Thank you for being here and enjoy each day. Good night.